sure are. Actually, if I don't remember, I mean, these are both NA Terrans, so it kind of goes without saying, but I'm pretty sure both of these players play mech from time to time.
I'm sure they have, and I'm sure at least one of them will in this series. Hopefully not both of them at the same time. We'll see.
As here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map. Coming off his win against Zane, but now in the TvT, this is epic.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data under the sea, we have his opponent, the American Terran player representing Team Gosu. It is Binski.
Binski. Baguette.
He's baguette. He's beautiful. Have you seen his hair?
No?
It's like a bowl of spaghetti.
Is that why it's called spaghetti?
I don't know.
Are you making this up?
I'll link you as the Wikipedia page, Papi. You can see for yourself. It's amazing. He's on fire.
I'm so confused.
Oh my god. But alas, for the time being, you know, we do have our players getting into the swing of things. 2 gas openers, kind of what we should be expecting here. But how NA are we really going to be going? I'm sure these 2 players are very, very familiar with each other, not just when it comes to the North American ladder, but in North American events, you know, things like NA Apprentice, the events run by Sugar, Storm Cup. Yeah, you know, they're meeting finally here at DreamHack Atlanta.
The joining of the Terrans.
Have you seen his hair?
Yes, you're an animal.
What do you mean?
Aye.
It's beautiful. Oh.
You disgust me.
I'm just hungry.
That's alright. You're just hungry? Okay. You just think of ramen noodles, you're like,
I just want some spaghetti.
Spicy ramen noodles. It does look like Epic is going to be looking to pair up the SEV and the Reaper, so a little bit of a TvT skill check. This is something that we do see Clem doing quite a bit. This does complicate things when it does come to the Reaper versus Reaper fighters. The SEV messes up the AI on that one, but looks like Binski actually just went straight across the map with his Reaper.
He had no fear, and both players, their CCs do actually get delayed. They both lose their building SCVs, and they're both able to back up, but Epic, he wants to try and cut off this Reaper. Oh.
Yeah, it does look like he's not going to be able to do that. Does get pretty close though, and this is why it can be pretty risky to just send that Reaper across the map alone. It makes a bit more sense to have it there with that scouting SEV, but looks like Binski going to be able to avoid danger there and equalizes the damage.
Yeah, exactly. See, you're like, mate, where these Terrans, they keep getting away with it. Where's the punish, Papi?
Punish him. Do it for me, Epic. As it does look like Epic just going to be going a little bit lighter on the initial Reaper Hellion. So just going for 2 Reaper, 1 Hellion. That does mean he's going to have a bit of a faster transition into his Marines, his Cyclones, his Ravens, all that good stuff.
Yeah, as we can all see, it's all just a little bit faster here. It does mean in a head-on engagement early on, he will end up losing, or he will have less units to work with, but he doesn't really intend to move out across the map. He's chilling here at home. He is content, at least for now, being the defender.
Yeah, looks like he's just going to use his Reaper Hellions to take those watchtowers, establish a little bit of map vision that way.
Watchtowers are being taken. Meanwhile, back at home from Binski, we do see his 1-1-1 getting underway, going straight into his tank as well. No Cyclone, and both Reapers of Epic are able to slip into the main.
Yeah, there we go. Very fast reactions coming out from Binski though, since his units straight up there. That was almost instant when those units, when those Reapers showed.
Yeah, very quick pull with those SCVs as well, just trapping those Reapers and just completely shutting them down.
Yeah, so the Reapers, they're not really that useful at this stage in the game, but you would probably still like to get more than 1 SCV for that. So looks like Epic is just going to be trying to find his way further along in this game in a different way. Sending out this SEV. Okay. I thought he was going to take his third on location, but looks like he's just trying to get some map vision.
Yeah, it was just he's not that crazy. Just trying to get a little bit more map vision out there as things just settle down a little bit. Binski, you know, now with the map control, going to be scouring around trying to get an eye on whether there was going to be a faster third base or anything like that. Binski going to be taking his own third, but up safely in his main.
Yeah, and there we go. We are just seeing those units sharking around for Binski, trying to establish that map control, see if they can spot any medevacs moving out, any ravens moving out, anything like that. But does look like Epic just going to be playing things safe, and oh, actually does sneak his raven out.
Yeah, his raven is on the way across the map so far undetected.
Yeah, and he actually gets his Hellion out there, so he's going to be able to do a little bit of extra scouting with that. Definitely getting the most out of that unit.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see how much damage can be done here. We'll see if he kind of tries to meet up with it with some other harass. And for the time being, Binski still has, you know, some presence outside the natural and outside the third base. Raven slips on in, gets an auto turret down, and is going to be able to deny some mining time here in the main.
Yeah, there we go. Actually gets quite a bit of damage. 3, 4 SCVs going down. That is a lot of damage for this turret. Oh, and he gets back in there and he drops it again. So this is a lot of damage that this Raven is getting. I would feel a little bit of pressure as Binski here to maybe look to get a push across the map while the Raven energy is low.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a window here where we're going to have significantly less kind of disable potential, especially now that the second Raven comes across the map and goes for more auto turret harass.
Yeah, there we go. So being very aggressive with these Ravens.
Yeah, and Binski, you know, how does he respond? Okay, he's just going to take his third base. He does have a decent tank count here. I mean, we're actually quite similar between our two players. I guess the biggest advantage that Epic has at the moment is his Viking count. He's up to 4 compared to only the 1 of Binski. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for Binski to really leverage his Ravens if he doesn't have that air superiority. So maybe he does recognize that. He's just kind of chilling here. He's just taking his third. He's vibing.
Yeah, there we go. So we do have a slightly faster third coming out from Binski. So he's using all this pressure that he's gotten across the map to just get that little lead. But at the same time, Epic, he's got a lot of tanks here. There is a potential here for a pretty nasty push. And actually looks like Binski's going to be the one pushing out.
Yeah, and I don't blame him, especially because he still has taken note that the third base hasn't been taken from Epic, so he knows that maybe there's an opportunity here to try and deny him while he does attempt to establish this area. We do see he's going to rotate around both armies, do scan each other. Binski trying to find a way in.
Yeah, there we go. So just going to be sharking back and forth. Oh, does look like he finds an angle on this base, so Epic is going to have to get out of there. That tank is going to be going down as well. Looks like Binski really doing a good job in this TvT right now.
Yeah, he's done a great job here out-positioning his opponent a little bit, once again delaying this third CC even longer.
Yeah, but nice control with the Vikings of Epic is being able to take out a few of the units here. Puts a bit of damage on the Vikings of Binski, puts a bit of damage on the Ravens as well. And with this Viking lead, you can start to think about maybe going for some Liberators as well, just to help push out against these tanks.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the production tab if we do see some Liberators on the way. Meanwhile, the Ravens have to be so careful here. They have so much energy, but they have to really respect all these Vikings. Once again, Epic forced to lift up his third.
Yeah, there we go. He's going to be able to drop that disable. Should be able to take out that tank. Looks like he's got more than enough, but being so aggressive with the Vikings as well. Epic is so quick.
Yeah, he has no fear, mate. These Vikings have gotten so much value so far. Looking at the unit slots tab, they were able to pick off 2 of the medevacs, 2 of the Vikings. They haven't gotten the Ravens yet of Binski, but they are so low on health.
Yeah, absolutely. And Epic's just been so good with his unit control here. It can be very hard being the defender here, trying to keep all your macro going while you're trying to match the back and forth kind of posturing of your opponent. And it does look like Binski is taking advantage of all the pressure to get his 4th on location.
Yeah, 4th is going to be on the way here. Meanwhile, Binski does get on top of this ramp. He does siege up well ahead of time compared to his opponent. Can he break on through?
Oh, yeah, I think this is a little bit too aggressive here. Kind of splits himself between the units of Epic, and Epic has the defender's advantage. He can just land his Vikings, he cleans up everything, and yeah, looks like binski maybe some nerves with the tournament, just trying to get this game finished and over and done with. Forces himself into an opening that's not really there.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, and binski was just a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too haphazard there with his push, and now he lost everything. He lost his Ravens, he lost his Vikings. He has one tank remaining.
Yeah, and this is really nasty. This kind of tank lead here that Epic has, this is something that doesn't really go away in TvT. It doesn't really matter if he misses his timing now to go for a push while binski's a little bit weak. This is an advantage that he's going to have for a long time.
Yeah, and how does binski get back into this? You know, when he doesn't have the Vikings, he doesn't have the tanks either. It's kind of difficult to get into drop play from here. He's gonna try to. We do have some medevacs on the way, but Epic is not going to take this lying down. He's trying to chase binski. He's trying to run him down.
Yeah, so much attention to detail from Epic as well. Just popping back that Raven that was on low health. It does go down now, but it looks like he's going to absolutely demolish this fight on the front. He's going to be able to get his tanks over to the third, and binski is in a world of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing left here. He's got a couple of reinforcements coming in. He's got one tank. He's going to have to pull the boys, but he's pulling the boys into 7 tanks.
Oh, and G is called. Damn, binski got himself in such a fantastic position in that game, but a little bit of an ill-advised attack, and that's TvT for you. Can throw it away in an instant.
Yeah, GG. Like, he was looking really good that game. Like, I was really impressed with how binski was performing against Epic. But we saw that in just one swift move, it was binski that again was just overextended a little bit too much there, was maybe just a little bit too excited about his position where he was ahead, to be fair, or he was, you know, trading quite well. And it was all over in an instant.
Yeah, just like that. And props to Epic as well for being so patient with his movement as well. It can be pretty stressful to be in that kind of situation. You can feel like you're forced to go for some kind of counter attack or something, but yeah, he just sat back. He just waited for binski to make a mistake, and that paid off.
It paid off in the end, and now we'll see if it continues to pay off as we get into game number 2 of this best of 3 series.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, up 1-0 in this series, it is the Red Terran, Epic.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have his opponents, the American Terran player representing Team Gosu. It is binski. I just love saying binski.
Baguette.
Baguette. Baguette. Oh boy. So yeah, some pretty impressive TvT overall, and I'm sure that, like, after maybe taking a moment to shake off his nerves, he can bring things back here in this series. Yeah, just a slight, I don't even know if I want to say a mistake, just like a misjudgment of the situation, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit overeager. It's not really like an opening that's there in TvT most of the time. I feel like when you're ahead in TvT, if your opponent is really playing defensively, there's not really going to be that much opportunity to just straight up kill them. You just have to, you know, get further and further ahead, just make them uncomfortable, deny mining at certain bases, put pressure on bases, and binski maybe just estimating that he was a little bit more ahead than he was, or just feeling like the game was over and just wanted that stress to end. But I think there's a lot to take out of that as well, that first game. I mean, he did extremely well, and he should feel confident that he can do that again.
Definitely, and I hope that we get to see some of that confidence here in the second game. If I remember, in the DreamHack qualifiers even as well, because we were able to cast some of his TvTs against Dolan, I believe. Yeah, binski was always really quick and really greedy to expand the way that he does, to even double expand at times whenever he's pushing out. So he has a lot of greedy play in his, like, toolbox, but, like, he gets away with it more often than not. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's really important in TvT as well to realize when you have map control and take advantage of that by throwing CCs down on location, stuff like that. But anyway, we do see already this game, they do have a bit of a divergence in their build orders. Epic going for a fast reactor, This often leads into a 5 Reaper 3 Hellion build, so might be Epic looking to put on a little bit of pressure with the series lead that he has.
Yeah, there we go. So unlike the previous game where he was more of a defensive player who was cutting Reapers earlier to just have a more defensible position, we do see him being the aggressor instead. And binski so far doesn't really have too much of an eye on this. He himself is actually going for a faster Cyclone.
Yeah, there we go. Very fast Cyclone. Does have the option as well, once this Cyclone is near to coming out, of diving those 2 Reapers into the main of Epic. I think if he does choose to do that, it's probably not going to work out super well for him because he's only going to have 2 Cyclones and a couple Marines at home when the attack of Epic comes out. But yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll see how he's able to salvage the situation as 2 Reapers are rushing across the map, as you were saying, and there's still a chance for them to deal some damage and to really get a scout of what is going on. For the time being, Epic is here at his natural, not quite in position. The Reapers are able to slip into the main.
Yeah, one thing this does do is it forces Epic to reveal his units, and seeing that there is a mass Reaper Hellion coming his way, binski is going to be able to react to that by maybe evacuating his natural when that's near.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options available to him. We do see Epic pulling the trigger, rushing across the map with his Reaper Hellion. binski, what does he have to defend? He's got those 2 Cyclones, as you were saying. They're actually going to be moving out to try and get ahead of this and try and get a bit of a lock on ahead of time.
Yeah, nice move. Going to be taking out 2 of the units. The Marines are in position to take the rest of those units out as well if they do commit. So it looks like Epic is going to be looking to reposition and throw these Reapers up through the main, but no, he does think better of it.
Yeah, he's kind of teasing with the idea, but hasn't gone for it yet. Meanwhile, nice repair on these Cyclones. binski has deflected the majority of this, and yeah, now he's even feeling a little bit confident to move out with these Cyclones, and he catches the Reapers.
Yeah, great catch there. So binski, he is very far ahead. Unfortunately, got a bit supply blocked, so not as far ahead as he could have been, but pretty nice lead coming out from this opening. Things have gone really nicely for him so far.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's definitely a world out there where maybe he would have been overwhelmed early on, especially if he hadn't been able to scout what was going on. But those Reapers early on were really able to give him a bit of a heads up ahead of time and react the way that he did. We do see the Reapers of Epic trying to once again get into the main base, but they've run into a tank and Marines.
Yeah, they do get cleaned up, and now binski, he's got these 2 Cyclones as well, so he should be able to take plenty of map presence here. Map control kind of belongs to him now, and I would like to see him, I was going to say throw down his 3rd on location, but I guess having an earlier 3rd's even better than that.
Yeah, 3rd is on the way already. This was scouted by Epic when he did slip into the main base with his Reaper, so he's fully aware of that, and he's looking to take this line down. He goes across that immediately with his first Raven. He's going to be able to get 4 SCV kills and a lot of lost mining time.
Yeah, Tara is getting a lot of damage as well, but yeah, we do have this Cyclone in position for binski. Takes out the Raven. Big punish there.
Aye. This time binski was ready for it. He shuts it all down, and Epic's in a bit of a rough position here. I mean, he still has... Oh, no, never mind. I was like, he is at least going into the Viking production much earlier. Very reminiscent of the previous game, but binski, mate, he's going across the map.
Yeah, there we go. So binski, realizing that he did take out that Raven, he does have a really nice Raven lead here. He's going to try to go for an aggressive move here. Actually, just sitting in the middle of the map for the moment. Interesting. So it looks like he's just buying himself a bit of time, making sure all his macro is good and going. But Epic here, he's positioned very defensively. It's not going to be easy for binski to get damage here.
Yeah, pushing up into the natural is a bit of a tough ask, but I'm sure binski, the least that he can do is maybe clear up some rocks and try and threaten that 3rd base location. Once again, give Epic just the hardest time in expanding and keep him on 2 bases for as long as possible.
Yeah, there we go. So that's exactly what he's going to be going for. We do see the orbital finishing up for Epic, so might just look to take that over at the linear base at the same time. See binski going to be floating out his 3rd. Everything looking pretty normal behind this. He's actually going to be going for medevacs instead of Vikings, so looks like he really wants to be out on the map and aggressive, but a Raven goes down before it can cast its spells.
Yeah, once again, Epic is so adventurous with his Vikings. He is fearless with them. He moves on forward and he catches a Raven for free, so a great pickoff, a great way to start his comeback.
Yeah, Epic's super aggressive with these Vikings, and that's something that comes as well from being such a mechanical player, from being so quick, is you can split up your army, into these Vikings, tanks, all the different parts of it, and be extremely aggressive against your opponent. And It is a good way to leverage speed in TvT.
Yeah, it really is. We've been able to see that throughout this series. Meanwhile, we do see once again another disable going to be going off, but there isn't a lot really left here for binski.
Yeah, once again, a little bit of an ill-advised push by binski. I think he just stayed here a little bit too long and hasn't really been reinforcing his army either, but yeah, there we go. We do see that was trying to set up this attack in the main, so as badly as that did go, it does give him a really nasty position here.
Yeah, we'll see if it was worth it. He lost 2 tanks, bear that in mind, as well as his final Raven. He does deny combat shields, but what else can he get done here as he's going to get cleaned up by everything else?
Yeah, and looks like those tanks will be going down there to get some decent damage. They are going to be able to put a bit of damage on this refinery that I think is going to go down. No, Epic does just save that, but yeah, canceling that combat shields as well. He will continue to be aggressive. I'm not sure about this.
He just keeps sending whatever he can across the map. He's hoping to try and catch Epic off guard, but every single time Epic is there to meet his army. This time Epic, he does wander in with a couple of these medevacs. They are going to be going down. Once again, tanks are being targeted down as well, but I think Epic may just have too much.
Yeah, Epic once again recognizing his momentum, especially when it comes to the tank count, is just going to be looking to keep that pressure up. He did have a small upgrade lead for a moment there as well, but yeah, behind this binski, going for a pretty fast 4th. It does look like Epic is a little bit behind on his production, a little bit behind on his base as well, but overall just playing a bit more of a sound game and does find himself with a pretty big tank lead that's going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah, and I've seen binski play like this against Migs as well, against Vindicta, where like binski, what he can really rely on and excel in is his kind of macro and his economy, and he can be a little bit careless at times when it comes to his pushes and his aggression, but he's able to rebuild and keep that pressure up.
Yeah, this is a very, very aggressive way to play, and he is honestly not trading very well. But if he can get his macro that far ahead behind it, it could be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, he just forces the cancel of the 4th base of Epic. He was trying to get it on location. We do see immediately binski, he's already got his 4th already completed. He's going to be landing it here on the right-hand side. He's getting his sensor towers up and running as well. We'll see if he can get away with these expansions as he already starts a 5th. Oh, sorry, no, that's Epic rebuilding his 4th on the left-hand side.
Yeah, there we go. But having a look at the units tab, we can see Epic 8 tanks to 3. That's going to be pretty difficult to deal with once Epic starts to get into a bit of a larger army, starts to look for a bit of a push out. He can even leave his tanks at home and start going for multi-prong attacks of his own with the Marines and with the medevacs. So he leaves himself with a lot of options by keeping these tanks.
Yeah, but you know what? The tanks, they move out of position. There's only 2 left at the 3rd base, and they're both going to go down.
Yeah, there we go. So nice opportune attack coming out from binski.
Great scan ahead of time. He's going to be able to get away with the majority of his Marines as well. It's a great way to try and equalize that tank count. It's still very far in the lead of Epic, but he's able to, again, close that gap a little bit and drags the army of Epic towards his own tank line. Up.
Oh, this is not a good angle to force himself through. So binski trying to jump on these tanks, only gets 1, gets absolutely massacred in this fight, and he does leave his own tanks exposed as well. And Epic going to jump on that, takes down those 2 tanks, just keeps pushing his tank lead forward.
He really does, but in saying that, Epic is down to 6 tanks to the 5 tanks of binski. So binski has been able to catch up in a way. That 4th base is fully operational with the gases, with the minerals. 5th CC is on the way, and Epic still hasn't landed his own 4th.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit awkward here for Epic, and he's going to have to find a way to maybe put a little bit of pressure on.
Exactly. I mean, his army was just affected, but here we go. He's moving out once again. Not moving out with too much, to be honest. Mainly medevacs, so he has to pull back.
Yeah, boosts the hell out of there. He does have a lot of medevacs here. If he can find an angle for a doom drop, that might be good for him. But this is what I really like about how binski's taken this 4th base. This is not the usual 4th base in TvT, but with these 2 turrets here, I really actually like this a lot. It keeps him very well covered from doom drop potential, as long as he keeps an eye on the left side, which he is doing with spotted Marines.
Yeah, it's really efficient as well, because he actually hasn't thrown down any turrets in his own main base, but he doesn't necessarily need to because of the positioning of that 4th and how it kind of protects it as well. So very interesting expansion style here from binski. We do see Epic's main army. He unsieges, he's moving everything through the center of the map. At the same time, a quad drop medevacs are headed towards the main base of Epic.
Yeah, and Epic, he only has the 2 turrets here to defend, so most of this is going to get through.
Yeah, and here we go. He carpet bombs the main base. Is getting on top of the production, and Epic, he has to make a choice. He's committing to his push.
Yeah, he has to go right now. Fortunately for him, this army hasn't really been seen at all. This is one of the disadvantages of not taking this fourth is you do have this extra angle of attack, and it is going to net him a CC, which is nice. But what is he doing to clean up his main?
Oh, that's the question. The 5th CC does go down. The main base is still on fire. At the same time, Binski, he's diving on top of the tanks.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting choice there. He's going to be losing all of his Marines. Maybe a little bit over-eager there, and his tanks are looking a little bit exposed now.
Oh, they really are, but there are a lot of tanks on Epic. He doesn't go for it. He's still trying to deal with the chaos in his own main base. It looks like with these Liberators, he's going to finally be able to clean up those tanks. Finally, he cleans up the army in his main, but he lost a lot of workers. He lost a lot of infrastructure.
Yeah, I believe it was 18 or 19 workers going down, loses a little bit of the infrastructure in his main as well. He's got his 3-3 on the way, but Binski's 3-3 is about to finish. The only problem for Binski here is his Marine count is quite low.
It's very low. I mean, you were talking about it, like his tanks are so exposed right now, but Epic does not know that. Binski moves out with his Marine army, and he's getting caught out.
Yeah, there we go. Does catch these Marines out of position. Is going to be sandwiching them. 3-3 is not going to save you from that. Really nice trade from Epic. Great movement of the units, and even gets his trapped tanks out of there.
Oh, yeah, beautifully done here by Epic, able to save his army at the same time. A little bit of liber harass across the map. Liberators are being dealt with. Epic is looking for a way, but oh my god, he goes through the choke point.
Oh, and he gets massacred by these tanks. So Epic was just looking to use a bit of his speed to his mechanics to get a little bit of advantage here, but looks like the positioning from Binski just a little bit too good, and Binski, he is really keeping up with Epic.
Oh, the position, papi. Binski did have it in the end, and Epic, he's going for a bit of a drop. I thought of the Doom drop, but no, only 2 medevacs are going across the map on the left-hand side. The rest of the army looks to try and punish even the 4th base. Has he seen it, by the way? Okay, he has. Just double-checking. The armies are actually kind of missing each other.
Yeah, it looks like Binski is going to be the first to come back and Epic going to be the first to come back and defend. We have a couple Ravens from Binski being used. The first tank has been disabled. He does have a great position on this 3rd. Meanwhile, the drop just blanketing these tanks to the north, and does look like he has the position to take out the 5th base.
Oh yeah, it looks like the 5th base is going to be taken down, but the 3rd of Epic also is forfeit, and Binski isn't turning around. He wants more than just a 3rd.
Oh, and in the process, charges headlong into these tanks. He does get the siege position here, though, and he has enough Marines to protect his tanks.
He does have enough. He has the position. He's going to be able to, try and siege up in range of some of the production and lay siege upon the main base. Epic's drop across the map is turning around. He's coming back home.
Yeah, Epic realizing he has to go for this. He starts fighting with the Marines. He does pick up everything. He's going to go for that Doom blanket drop over the top of the tanks. Has enough of these medevacs to try to hide where the units are, but looks like Binski going to be able to clean this up, and Epic, he's in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, Epic loses everything, and now his main base, okay, it isn't quite compromised. Binski's going to back off, but he's only backing off to reinforce. A massive army is coming from across the map again due to the economy of Binski.
Yeah, this is a huge army. He does have a few medevacs here, so yeah, he's going to be loading up those Marines, heading straight on into the main. Does have his tanks trying to find a position over here as well, so these factories, they are very exposed.
Yeah, one factory already going to be going down. Epic has to respond here. He has to reposition his army. The Marines are on the way. He's bringing a tank over as well, but the 2nd factory goes down.
Yeah, both factories going to be going down. Those tanks are covering the Marines, so they will be able to take out these extra Raxes over to the north as well. Does Binski have any pressure coming back on his own side? There we go. He is going to be dropping some Liberators on this mining base, but the reactions from Binski very quick.
Yeah, exactly. You'll lose 4 of these SCVs. We do have a couple of reinforcing Marines headed in this direction. And yeah, the Liberators are not going to get too much more damage done. They are being swatted away. And thankfully, they are saved. We may even be able to use them back home to try and break some of these siege lines. But alas, Binski, he's done. He's backing off.
Yeah, there we go. He realizes there's not too much more potential for damage. We do see Epic trying to take a base to the bottom right-hand corner, so he has been able to sneak out a few extra bases, and that is going to keep him in this game. But oh, it's his natural. Oh boy. I mean, he's got more mining, I think, at this point than binski, but he's really behind in the army. It's going to be so hard to deal with all these tanks, all these marines of binski. That is a huge army that's headed his way.
Yeah, binski is maxed out, 200 supply. He's rushing across the map with everything that he has. He has a position as well. Epic is trying to sneak out behind the army, but he gets spotted.
Oh, yeah, and he takes some huge tank shots. I don't think he was watching there, and GG is called. Binski ties things up.
Binski, Poppy, he does it. And again, he has such an NA style of playing where for such a long time, right, he wasn't really taking efficient trades. He was pulling a live VIP where he's like, he's not looking, Poppy, and then he just rushes in and he loses everything. That happened like 5 or 6 times. But you know, like you just need 1 or 2 good moments where you just take an amazing fight anyway. Things just suddenly go your way. You somehow find your way in the main base of Epic, which happened like 2 or 3 times, and yeah, he was able to persevere. Ugh.
Yeah, there we go. He was able to get that little bit of a lead behind that, and he just took that lead and ran with it and played a very good game for the rest of it.
Yes, he was. I mean, his fourth base was very early, and it was quite untouched for a very long time as well. So there wasn't really much hindering his ability to rebuild what he was losing, and then to eventually take some good trades and some good fights. And now we are getting into an ace match.
Yeah, here we go. We are going to be going to Tropical Sacrifice. So this is a map that doesn't quite suit that same style as well. I think it is going to be a little bit easier for Epic to play the defender, which he has been doing for most of these games. So I do favor Epic a little bit more on this map, but Binski showing that he is a force to be reckoned with in TvT.
He really is, but his opponent is here, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, representing Psystorm Gaming, the American Terran. It is Epic.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, in the blue, this is Binski.
Boy, this is where it all ends. As a reminder, this is a knockout bracket match, so the loser of this series is eliminated from the entire tournament. So the pressure is on.
Yeah, the pressure is on in this NA TvT showdown. Looks like both players, again, just going to be going for the same build, so we're not going to be seeing anything spicy. Not going to be trying to take out any cheap tricky wins with something like a Rax expand with a proxy or anything like that. We are just going to be seeing a bit of honorable play, playing standard builds.
They are honorable.
Yes, the honorablest.
It's beautiful, Papi, beautiful. So
on macro play.
Some on macro play. Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we haven't seen a proxy from either of these players this entire series. Maybe they just know each other a little bit too well. Maybe they just want some of that more, you know, high color play. Yeah, there you go.
I definitely feel like this is Epic saying I'm the better player, kind of thing. Yeah. Where he's looking to be defensive, looking to be responsive, not really looking to risk anything, which is, yeah, definitely when you are playing and you think you're the stronger player in TvT, I don't really see any reason why you wouldn't just go for a standard build.
Yeah, it takes a very special kind of player, no pun intended, but special is one of them, that decides to cheese anyway, even if they are the better player. It's a bit of more of a Korean thing to do, I feel. So yeah, none of that is happening here, though, as once again, actually Binski is the player to move out across the map with his Reaper and with his SCV. Yeah,
there we go. So we are going to be seeing the SCV getting a hit on that. SCV takes out the Reaper, so Epic gets the best of this little micro exchange, and that is disastrous for Binski. This seems like a small thing, but it's actually huge for what can happen in the later Reaper Hellion fights.
Oh my god, yeah, losing your first Reaper and SCV like that is brutal. Epic can get away with his own CC. Epic has the high ground. He's going to be able to shoot first as well. Has a little bit less HP, so has to respect this Reaper, but he does have 2 more on the way.
Yeah, there we go. Just gonna be dancing back and forth, trying to force that Reaper to commit a little extra so he can take it out with the Hellion. Binski not gonna make that mistake. Will send his Reaper home, but behind this, Binski has quite greedily gone into this Reaper Cyclone build, so he could be in a lot of trouble here.
He really could, as Epic is going for that reactor, or was going for the reactor Reaper, but there we go, he's switching into Marines, but with what he has, he can move out across the map. At the same time, Binski slips into the main base of Epic.
Yeah, going to be a little bit of an awkward timing, but we do have these Marines here to deal with this. Looks like Binski going to be committing that Reaper just to get that SCV to delay some mining, but oh, I love this from Epic. I think this is a little bit of a reaction as well to killing that first Reaper, that he is going to go early and he's going to go into a tank drop behind this.
Oh my god, the aggression just doesn't stop. Speaking of aggression, we do see 3 Reapers in the main base of Binski. 2 workers already going to be going down, a lot more behind this as well. The Cyclone has to react at the same time. The Hellions slip into the natural.
Oh, the target fire. 9 SCVs go down. This is game-ending disastrous damage, and going it for the medevac drop behind this as well. I kind of forgot about this build. I need to start doing this again. This is such a good build.
Here we go. The medevac is on the way alongside these tanks and Marines. There we go. We're rushing across the map as soon as possible. There is a world where maybe Binski can hold, especially with his Cyclone positioning, especially with the lock-on, but he has no idea that this is coming across the map again. He has lost all or any kind of form, any way to get any scanning information.
Yeah, there we go. So Epic going to be looking for a bit of an abusive angle where he can set this tank up and start picking away at the units of Binski. If Binski is watching, he should be able to get this lock-on and get out of there, but unfortunately, the lock-on is going to be spent on the medevac and the Marine, so this tank is going to be able to get set up here.
Yeah, the tank does siege up in position. It is going to force things to be a little bit awkward for Binski. He does end up pulling his boys to repair. He tries to top up the Cyclones to try and break. Oh boy, he's at least getting a little bit of information on how much there is here to really protect this tank.
Yeah, looks like we are going to be getting those Cyclones sent out. They can maybe even drop on top of this tank, so Epic's going to have to be quick with the unsiege.
Yeah, and so far the unsiege is not there. We do have the lock-on on the medevac and the tank, and this is going to get cleaned up, but here come the reinforcements from behind.
Yeah, the reinforcements here are going to be threatening these units, but nice micro from Binski. Oh, he does lose one of these Cyclones. The second Cyclone is very low. Definitely doesn't want to be dropping this one on top. Cheeky micro, though.
The second Cyclone gets picked off, but it looks like Binski should be able to chase everything else down from here. So I have to wonder if this was really worth it in the end for Epic, because, third Cyclone barely gets saved, but he did lose 2 tanks.
Yeah, he almost loses the third Cyclone, but I'm not a huge fan of going for 3 Cyclones in this matchup. We can see he actually has no tanks behind this, so it's pretty fortunate for him that he was able to take out all those tanks of Epic. He would be really behind in the count there, but here we go. He's going to be going for a Marine drop into the main, and there is nothing in position for Epic.
Oh my god, exactly. He has a couple of options. He's going to go for a couple of workers and try and cancel this CC. Gets 3 workers in the end, is forced to pull back, and even forces a defensive auto turret.
Yeah, there we go. So Binski actually finding some ways to pull himself back into this game. We see the 2 third base timings are roughly equivalent. We do see an extra Rax as well for Epic. I'm not really sure when that went down.
Yeah, an extra Rax is right now. We even have a Banshee in the natural base of Epic as well, just chipping away at these units. 5 workers go down. There was no cloak committed, by the way. Just a single Banshee was made, and so far it's doing a decent job, but again, just trying to keep Binski in this.
Yeah, Binski just trying to do whatever he can with the harass. At the same time, we do see a very fast stim coming out from Epic, so he does have the opportunity to get a little bit aggressive here. He will be ahead on the stim.
Oh yeah, very far ahead in that stim and +1 timing. Meanwhile, the Banshees again just being a little bit annoying here, but a Viking comes out without cloak. Yeah, this Banshee is going to go down.
Yeah, I didn't realize that +1 went up either. So this is a very aggressive build that's coming out from Epic, and I have a feeling that might be a response to the build of Binski, the fact that he's so low on tanks. This is the kind of build that doesn't really work against very good defensive tank positioning, but if he realizes that there aren't that many tanks, he could go for a bit of an aggressive push with the Marines.
Definitely. Looking at the units tab here, we only have 2 tanks for Binski, and Binski's even in the midst of moving out, so he has to be very careful. He barely has any tanks to begin with, and if he loses any in this engagement, things can very quickly snowball from there.
Yeah, it looks like Binski didn't really recognize what kind of build Epic was going for, because you definitely don't want to get caught out on the map against Stim here. Epic, unfortunately, is going to be missing the medevac with his Viking up to the north, but he should be able to crush this push to the south if he catches it.
Yeah, and here we go. We do see a preemptive scan from Binski, just getting an eye on things. Epic, oh, he thinks about it, but no, he will back off, takes a couple of shots to the face. He does have a couple of Ravens for disables, so he can definitely clean this up, but at the same time, the drop gets into the main.
Yeah, Drop is going to get into the main. This Raven does have energy to Matrix. There's a medevac, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get that done. Maybe the Viking can take it out, though.
Oh, the Viking is on the way. It's only going to take 2 more hits. 1 more hit, it goes down.
Yeah, there we go. So that little thorn in the back of Epic has been dealt with. We see both players have been able to get their thirds up and running. Binski a little bit ahead on the economy, but he is, yeah, really trying to shark with these units just to stop Epic from moving out. And I think if Epic can just ignore this and get a push across the map, it's going to be pretty hard for Binski to deal with.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see if he's going to be able to get across the map, or if Binski's going to be able to slow him down. He does siege here in the middle of the map. Is going to get the first shots off.
Oh, he's not looking. He does catch a few shots on those Marines, but those Marines, they got the stem, they got the combat shields very early here. They're going to be able to take those shots, and we do see a scan going down. Epic may be realizing that Binski's a little bit out of position to defend his third.
Yeah, he's making a beeline for it, and Binski, he barely does scout this with a spotted Marine. He's going to try and rotate over as well. He will pick off one of those Ravens.
Yeah, we see the disables going down, but with that stim, with that combat shields, he does right on top of this. Every tank's going to be going down, and Epic destroying that fight.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about it. Binski was playing on the knife's edge. GG gets called, and Epic takes the series.
GG. Epic takes that one down. It did kind of feel like in that game, all the pressure that he was able to put on with his Reapers, with that tank drop, forced a few mistakes out of Binski, forced Binski to be a little bit over aggressive with the lower tank count, and he was finally able to get the punish on that kind of player.
He really was. I mean, it did feel like it was, you know, a cascading effect that happened over time there for Binski, where he got lead after lead after lead. Binski was just trying to go for some, I would say, risky play. I mean, you were taking notes that maybe Binski just didn't really recognize the position that he was in, and how vulnerable he was moving out across the map. So maybe misreading the situation a little bit there, and yeah, just really, really well done by Epic.
Like you said, risky again.
You're an animal.
Got him. But there we go. Epic is going to be taking down that 2-1 victory, and he will be progressing.
He will.
Are you there? Are you waiting to see if I say a player's name? You're like, is there a player called Progressing?
That's actually what I was thinking of. My brain was stuck on progression, and I was like, can I get away with anything here?
You're like, no, Progressing is Mayan player in Age of Empires. Yeah, I'm like, is he? Like, haha, got you.
I got you.
Got him.
He fell into my trap. Who is a Protoss player, by the way.
Ah, there we go. One of the classic blunders.
But with that, congratulations to Epic. He does move on in the knockout bracket. My condolences to Binski, as this is where his run ends in DreamHack Atlanta. So a little bit sad, but he did go quite a ways, and I'm sure he had a great experience at his first LAN. I believe, if you recall, he even came second in the BYOC of the StarCraft event at Atlanta.
Oh, I didn't know that, but nice.
He came second to Mixu. Mixu played as well.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, you know, he was able to have a little bit more success that weekend. I don't believe that was casted, and we don't have the replays. So don't worry. We're not going to be covering even more. But yeah, he was able to find some other success that weekend, and now we are going to be continuing Epic's run as he runs into not a Protoss, not a Terran, but a Zerg.